Good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's UCIC Talk. My name is Lindsay, and I'll be your master of ceremony for today's session. But before we start, let's pray together, appealing His prayer in a universal way. We're grateful for this opportunity to gather and learn together. May this session be filled with meaningful insights and bring positive energy to everyone here. Let's begin today's session with gratitude and excitement to learn. Amen. All right, now we have a super exciting topic. Does anyone know what we're going to talk about today? We'll be talking about Passport to Korea, real tips on essays, prep, and life at Dongseol University. We'll get a peek into what it's like to study, practice, and actually get into a prestigious university internationally. Straight from people who've experienced it. I can't wait to know what it's like to be a student in Korea. So without further ado, let me introduce today's speakers, Jessica Tajer and Lee Samuel, who have experience in becoming students in Dongseol University in Korea. Welcome, Jessica and Lee Samuel. The time is yours.
Okay, so hello everyone. Thank you so much for joining today's UCIC Talk. And also, I would like to thank you to UCIC for inviting us as a speaker here. Wait, before I start, is my sound okay? Can you hear it?
Yes, it's okay, Jay.
Okay. So today's title will be Passport to Korea, Real Tips on Essays, Prep, and Life at Dongseol University. So before we start, I want you guys to imagine this question. What if one semester could change the way you see the world? So today, me and Samuel, we will be sharing my real experiences and also an exchange student in South Korea. Not just the highlights, maybe from what you see from Instagram or TikTok, but we'll also share our preparation, challenges, and also the lessons behind it. So I hope by the end of this talk, you guys will be interested to do exchange abroad. Next. I will be introducing myself. Annyeong everyone. Annyeong means hello. My name is Jessica Tajer. I'm an Information System for Business student, ISB 2022 at Universitas Ciputra Surabaya. And I was also an exchange student at Dongseol University, South Korea during fall 2024 program. It's from August to December. And I lived and studied in Busan for 5 months. And actually, it was one of the most meaningful experiences of my life. And even though I didn't come from like a perfect background, and even at first I didn't speak fluent in Korean, and I was also so nervous, but after all, it went very well. So next. Next slide. Okay. So before we go to serious, let me share you guys some fun facts about me. I am a K-popper, if you guys know K-pops. You can see there's a boy band that's NCT Dream. And then I'm also a K-drama enjoyer. My last watch was this Genie K-drama. And then I also love kimbap, which is my survival food in Busan. Then I'm also addicted to Pop Mart, if you guys know the toys that's been trending these whole days. And then I can also recommend the best places since I love traveling. And fun fact, I went to Korea for 3 times already. When I go to the exchange, it's my 3rd time going. So I also know like the places around there. Okay, next.
Okay, now also Annyeong everyone. I'm Lee Samuel Miracle Cristanto. I know my name is quite long, but anyways, I'm actually an informatics IMT 2022 student from Universitas Ciputra Surabaya, of course, and I'm also an exchange student at Dongseol University during the fall 2024. So from August and until December. I also lived and studied in Busan for 5 months. Sorry. And actually, like this exchange program was my first time visiting Korea. So yeah, that was okay. So maybe some quick fun facts about me. Because well, I'm from IMT, so I really love tech stuff like AI, software development, and then the rest are just me enjoying games like many rhythm games, Korean and JB games, and cats. And also, I really loved like this one particular place in Busan called Somyeon. And yeah, I just really enjoy Somyeon, and not only Somyeon, but also like many other places in Busan. Okay, now we are moving on, but so what we'll be talking about is about the preparations. So how to apply, uh, what are the documents that needs to be prepared, and then some tips and tricks about preparing for the essays, and then just like showing our past life at Dongso University, like our experiences, challenges, and how to overcome it, and just additional tips and tricks on saving and stuff.
Okay, so let me introduce Dongso University, or as we call DSU. DSU is located in Busan, South Korea, which is the second largest city. And it's a coastal city, very beautiful, very lively. And in my opinion, it's also way calmer than Seoul, which is the capital city of South Korea. And Dongso was established in 1992, and it hosts around 1,800 and more international students from all over the world. And I think it's known more for their digital contents and film, IT and engineering, which is my major, and especially for its international programs and global campus atmosphere. And as an exchange student, I think you will be really very welcome here. Next. Yeah, as you can see, this is the campus map. There's in total around 30, I think 31 buildings. It's very huge, guys, like the area. And also it's like uphill. It's like in a mountain. So every time you walk, you will be just tired, you know. So next. Yeah, this is some pictures. There's library, which is at the left side of the picture. And then there's also the field, the soccer field. I used to go there with my friends just to hang out, or maybe we do some walking around or running and stuff. And there's other building. You can see the class too. It's kind of modern. Next. Okay, so let's talk about the actual process step by step. First, during our fourth semester, we got information from a lecturer about the registration for the fall exchange program in DSU 2024. And then I looked for the poster at Ciputra CIS-UCIC.IT. And I think it's made by the Cage. And then, next slide. Okay, what we actually did, first, of course, we get in touch with the relevant lecturers from your major. And please don't be shy because I know they're there to help you guys. And then we also went through an interview. It's to know like, what's your motivation? Why do you want to go to Korea? Why do you choose Dongso and South Korea and so on? And after that, you fill in the application form. You can see the picture there. There's a lot of form you need to fill in. And also, it includes the essay that we will be talking about later. And then you also need a professor recommendation letter. Then once everything is approved and somehow you got accepted by UC. And finally, you prepare the additional documents for the DSU and also for visa requirements. I know it sounds long, but if you do it step by step, I think it's very simple. Yeah, next. Yeah, here are the documents. Maybe if you guys want to know, like you can get the screenshot. So there's application form, personal statement include essay, the professor recommendation that I said before, also physical examination record. It's like a medical checkup that you guys need to do in a hospital. That time I spent around 650,000 rupiah. It depends on the hospital. It may be different for every other else hospital. And then certificate of enrollment. You will also need to be as apostilled to the accountant. It costs around 150K. Also, official transcript, copy of passport, language requirement. That time I used IELTS, and I think Samuel used Duolingo. It's yeah, you can. It's optional. You guys can choose between that. And then for the visa application, it's around 1,000. I mean 1 million rupiah. But if you guys use agent, maybe it can cost more, like twice the price, and so on. Next.
Okay, so now we're moving on to the like important part of getting into Dongso or maybe just anywhere abroad, which is the essay. So let's talk about some essay tricks that we feel like pretty important. So firstly, start with a strong personal motivation. So just open with a personal background or your value, like for example, your about your family, your ambition, your personal ambition, your responsibility, like to show who you are before what you've achieved. Like just explain, like just do the storytelling about your like past life, past struggles and all. And then don't forget to balance academics and non-academics. So in your essay, of course, you will like to like address your academic achievements, but don't forget about the non-academics. So yeah, combine your GPA academic roles. Like for example, in UC, there's some assistant lecturer role that will be really good to include. And then like maybe if you've joined some competitions, organizations, some leadership experiences, and many more. And then don't forget to demonstrate responsibility, your responsibility as an exchange student. So like emphasize yourself being a cultural ambassador and just promise that you will maintain a good conduct when you're there, and then show how learning abroad will benefit Indonesia. Like you could just relate it to your major skills and interests. Like for example, if you're an IT major, then I would like um, bring Indonesia's like current advancement in technology to Korea, or just to compare it, and that will be like a really good example to include to your essay. And then don't forget to frame your failures as growth. Like even when you weren't winning, emphasize the lessons that you've learned, like your optimism and your readiness for future challenges. And then next, explain, of course, why South Korea and not other country. Like there are so many reasons that you could come up with. Like for example, like Korea's culture, like Korea's education quality. Like for example, you could include the PISA ranking. PISA is like um, an index of education, like the education quality of certain countries, like by number, and then like how is the technology, how is the discipline of South Korea and all. And then be specific about why DSU, like just do your research, like talk about the curriculum of DSU, like how DSU, like specifically DSU is more focused on international, like DSU is one of the more internationally welcome university when compared to the other Busan or even Seoul universities. And then maybe just do your research about how TSU's campus environment is like more suitable for you, and just maybe talk about TSU's cultural exposure. And then explain, oh sorry, that okay, just and then just close with long-term impact, like just share about your past experience, and then like how you will commit to help future applicants, and just building something meaningful after returning to Indonesia. And in the end, it's all just about storytelling your journey and just be who you are. Okay, so now we'll be talking about the in and out of campus life. So about dormitory accommodations, there are many different like dorm buildings. So There are Global Village, East Hall, and then the International House too. And lastly, kit building. And the price will range from 600,000 until 720,000 Korean won per semester. And okay, so about the Korean currency, it's in Korean won, KRW, sorry, KRW, and in rupiah, like 1,000 won will cost like around 12,000. It could be less, but yeah, we usually just use the 1 to 12 ratio.
Okay, so let's start with mine. Jessica's life at Dongso and also Busan. Next. Okay, so that time I stayed at KIT dorm building that Samuel mentioned before. It's actually a new dorm, the most newest compared to the others. It has like modern facilities, and also my neighbors and friends, they all came from everywhere, like Korea, Vietnam, Thailand, France, Brazil, Spain, Mexico, and many more. So because of that, most of my friends were international students. And also, fun fact, we still talk like every single day in our WhatsApp group chat until now. And yeah, also the dorm. One honest thing that actually kind of bother me. It's the road to the dorm from the class. It's very long and also uphill. And when it comes to night, it becomes so dark. And that's one of the thing I kind of hate about the dorm. Okay, sorry. Okay, and then that time I got a roommate. She's from Myanmar, and of course, she became one of my strongest support system. Like even from day one, I never actually felt alone because of her. Next. Yeah, I took 6 classes, totaling 19 credits. I use it to convert SKS at UC. And also my courses included Korean listening and speaking, advanced artificial intelligence, mobile programming, cloud computing, business ethics, and cinematography and lighting. And all the classes were English based. And I think the lecturers spoke English very well, that I can actually understand everything. So the environment was also so supportive, interactive, and fun. And the courses that you can take it by your own choice. Also from your own major, like you can connect it to your schedules and so on. Next. Yeah, so the activities I experience it. So actually, Dongso is very active when it comes to like events or going to places. Like KICT Week in Busan, that time we went to a hall that they made like something like bazaar, but it's like from many universities. They did some projects like AI, like gaming and all the applications, and they just like present it to us so that we know everything about IT related. And then there's also during Halloween, they organized a huge festival. Like students did some like stands, like games. There's also like food trucks. If you guys usually see at like K dramas about food trucks, and then like dance performances, like K-pop random dance, and then everyone wore costumes, like Halloween costumes. It was so fun. And also I joined this one international camp. It's Gimhae. It's another city from Busan. Dongso actually covered like the bus, transportation, even the food. Like we get a lot of food. And also we get to know like Korean people too, because we get like one group consists of many country people. And also we do a lot of activities there. And then one of my proudest moment, I also joined this one video competition about SDGs with with two of my friends, which is also Samuel, one of them. And we actually, I think we won, and we got like a gift card, I think. from Dongso. And then, yeah, there's also Busan Film Festival. It's also free from Dongso. We actually need to pay like 10,000, but Dongso covered it for us. And we actually get to meet the actresses too. So after we watched the movie, they also came to that stage and do some talking there. So it was so fun. Next. Yes, hanging out with friends, of course. I used to do karaoke. It's called norebang in Korea. It was so fun. I almost do it like every week with all of my friends. And also ice skating when it comes to almost winter time. Like we wear those thick jackets. It was so fun. And we also visit like other cities from Busan, like Gyeongju and then Ulsan. Okay. Yeah, we went to another city like Gyeongju and also Ulsan with our own personal expenses. And also chicken and beer, it's a must in Korea because every time we hang out with friends, it's like, what should we eat? Like, okay, maybe we should just eat chicken because it's like the basic thing that it's like everywhere in Korea, so it was good. And then also like birthday celebrations. That time I do it with one of my friend at Baskin Robbins. We bought like a cake. Next. Yes. Also, I went to Seoul that time, also with Samuel. We went to visit Everland, and then I also get to play with the snow because that time it was also winter. I also do visit K-drama locations that you can see from the picture if you guys know what K-drama is that. And then there's also Busan Firework Festival. Then I also went to church with Indonesian friends. And then, of course, the must thing to do, photo booths that you can see at the left side. Yeah, photo booth, like it's a must when it comes like hanging out with your friends. Also visiting pop-up events. That time was Squid Game era, the season 2, if you guys know. I went to visit their pop-up booths, like I get to meet the guard, like the official Netflix guard, and so on. Next. Okay, now I'm gonna talk about Korean culinary. Food in Busan was incredibly amazing, but I think for me personally, it can be very expensive. Like even one meal usually costs around 4,500 to 15,000 won, which is quite pricey in rupiah. It's around 50,000 to 200,000 rupiah. Like of course different from Indonesia. And since Busan is near the sea, seafood dishes are very popular there. You can see like udon seafood, and the others are like the general Korean food, like tuna kimbap, and then there's meat barbecue, of course, kukbap. Kukbap is one of my best food there because that time when it was cold, I eat that and it's like very warming. And then there's also bogumbap. Bogumbap is like a fried rice. There's also bibimbap. I think you guys know, like it's veggies on top of the rice. Next. Yeah, but to save some money, I used to do some cooking. I even bought my own rice cooker there because I feel like the food there are too expensive. So I just bought rice cooker to cook rice, and also I did like curry chicken, also Indomie. I brought Indomie from Indonesia. That's a must too. Or maybe often I would go to the convenience store near the dorm, and then I would just buy like ramyeon or maybe kimbap, like that samyang and sausages. It was so good. And then also like onigiri, something like that. So it's simple, but I think it's a life saving. Next. Yeah, here are the convenience store that you can find in Korea, not Busan, but I think it's the whole South Korea. There's 7-Eleven, there's Nice to See You, and GS25. I usually go to See You because like it's near to my dorm. Next. Okay, for the weather, Yeah, one of my favorite parts of studying in Korea was actually experiencing the 3 seasons. When I come to Korea, it was August, and I think August till September, it's around 20 to 30 degrees Celsius, so it's actually still summer. It's kind of hot somehow, but not as hot as Indonesia, I think. It's just a bit. And then at October, it started to get windy, which is autumn. It's around 22 and it hits to 13 degree at night usually. It's getting cold, so usually I wear like 2 layers or 3 layers of clothing. And then when it comes to November, I think it's a transition to winter. It's 8 degrees to 16 degrees Celsius. And when it comes to December, it reaches winter. And somehow, Busan didn't got any snow, sadly. But because that time there's snow in Seoul, I actually went to Seoul with my friends. I think I mentioned that before. And it comes around 0 to 10 degrees Celsius. So yeah, the 3 seasons are summer, autumn, and winter. Next. Yeah, here are the pictures. You can see like I experienced summer, like when the trees are still so green and then it turns to like red, orange, and somehow it got snow at Seoul. You can see like it was fun because I feel like from wearing thin t-shirts and then wearing 5 layers of clothing, that was just so fun. Like I get to change a lot of different kind of outfit. So like every season felt like a new chapter for me. Okay, next.
Okay, so moving on about my life at the SU in Busan. Okay, so different from Jessica, who stayed in Kit dorm, I actually stayed in the International House 2, or IH2, which is actually one of the most like popular dorm. It is almost full of students. When there are like empty rooms, it will often quickly get filled with students, and it is mostly filled with students from Thailand, US, Brazil, Russia, Mexico, and there's so many Malaysians, so many Vietnams, and of course so many Indos. Like almost like 95% of Indos actually got put here. And there's actually a public kitchen, which is really great for networking and just, well, saving. And then uh okay, so one of the minus part of this storm, which is when on winter the heater didn't like work properly, and then there's actually quite um many cockroaches. So yeah, you gotta clean your room. And there's some pics of my dorm. So there's this public kitchen, there's this cat outside of the dorm, and then you can do your coin laundry. And this is like my day one bedroom. Okay. So similar to Jessica, I also took 6 classes, but it is totaling in 18 credits, and it is like mostly in computer science, and they are all like fantastic sessions, and also all English based. So like for the computer science related classes, there are advanced AI, and then mobile programming, cloud computing, computer graphics. And then for the non-IT stuff, there's digital publishing and principles of marketing. Okay. Now here are some random pics of DSU. Yeah, there's this is our main like building, the ICB, International College Building. Then here's the view, like sunset-ish from in front of my dorm. And then this is like the statue of the owner, the founder, sorry, the founder of TSU. And then this is the library, the means of library. Correct me if I'm wrong. Means of library, yeah, it's really wide, it's really cool. And then it's just a random like scenery. Okay. And then here's the cat in front of uh, uh a cafe near my dorm. And then this is the popular DSU photo spot, and then random cat, and then there's another like POV from this, and then because DSU is also like famous for their design, like design majors. So yeah, there's a lot of characters here. And then about my past activities, also the KICT week, because well, I'm an IT guy, so yeah, it was pretty fun. It is like IoT or Arduino, if you guys know. And then here's the international camp at Kimhae, which is outside of Busan. And yeah, for this particular camp, there's like for the participants, there's like about 50-50, like 50 Koreans and then 50 internationals. So yes, we were divided into teams, and each team will contain like 50% Koreans and then 50% like international students. So there's my friend from Russia, and then this Vietnam, yeah, and all. Okay, next, this is one of my like the last class. It's actually pretty sad. Of my one of my favorite class, which is digital publishing. So, as the name of the course suggests, it should be like all digital, but designing everything digital. But for the last class, our professor just decided, okay, we're gonna move from digital. We're gonna try to like draw traditionally, which is really fun. Uh, she took us to a really calm place just to, reflect about your life and just do some drawings. And then there's some local church events. Yeah, because I mean it's fall 2024, so these events are usually like often happening on Christmas. And then here are the list of must-visit places and events in Busan. Okay, so for the beaches in Busan, there's only like two that are good. It is the Gwangali Beach and the Hyundai Beach. Gwangali is more, sorry, the Hyundai is more popular. It's maybe like more elite, I guess. But I personally prefer Gwangali. And then there's the Busan Tower. Yeah, it's like the Monas of Busan. And if you want to like see from the top of the tower, you will need to pay 12K won. Yeah. And then oh yeah, there's this mascot of Busan, just a duck, a cute duck. Okay, next is the Nampo Dong, and also beef. Beef is inside Nampo, so yeah, they're together. And for these two places, it's mostly just shopping streets, and then it's overall just central commercial and cultural hub. You could buy a lot of like Korean things, if you want some oleh-oleh, and then you could buy maybe like H puff, and just there's this street like street full of street foods where you could try Korean street foods. And then I actually found this one like Indonesian restaurants, and it was really expensive. Like one nasi goreng cost like 10K won, which was like 120,000 rupiah, and it tasted meat. So yeah. Okay, so here's samyeon. This place is mostly for the youngsters. Like there's just shopping streets, just lifestyle and malls. It's just a really great place um for you and your friends to like just hang out and maybe get to some arcades and maybe just play some crane games. And yeah. And then there's this Busan Premium Outlet. I actually visited this place when um it was around December near the Friday. I forgot Black Friday. Yeah, around the Black Friday when all the prices of the premium stuffs like went down. So yeah, I actually almost bought a shoe, but I actually bought just one hat, like one MLV hat from this place. So yeah, if you want to find like almost complete collection of, premium stuff like some shoes, maybe some caps, like there's just a lot of premium brands in here. So yeah, if you're into that, so just visit this place. And then here's the first event, which is G Star at Mexico. G Star is like a yearly Korean gaming expo, so you could just um visit this place, and the ticket was like, I forgot, like around 20K one, yeah, 20K one, and you could just visit a lot of gaming booths. You could even play test some unreleased games. Like here, I played Arknights and just many uh Chinese or Korean games, and you could also get lots of free goodies. For the G Star that I visited, it was G Star 2024. So it started from like November 14th. Yeah. And then there's the Busan Fireworks Festival, and it was held at Guangdong Beach. It was so fun. Like, and it was so crowded. We, me and all my friends, including Jessica, we arrived early at like 10 o'clock, almost in the morning. And meanwhile, the fireworks would start at like 7. So there was some dedication. And then maybe lastly, the Busan Christmas Market. It's just a really nice place to just feel the vibe. It's warm and cozy, and you could eat some Christmas theme culinary. And then we'll be talking about the tips on saving. Now, there's a total of 3 CUs near my dorm, and just the issue in as a whole. And when some food like bread or kimbap are nearing their expiration date, it will be on discount. And for the second tips, uh, some local supermarkets will sell certain items at a lower price than like CU 7-Eleven. And then now Daiso is really like a really great place to buy some everyday items. Like if you want to buy some like door handles, some trash cans and all, go to Daiso because there's just they're all cheap in here. And then a Coupang, it's like a Tokped or Shopee at Korea. You could buy like rice, and I also bought my pillow and even a new laptop charger, and I broke it like mid-semester. And for Coupang, you need to make like you need to have some kind of an identification card if you want to register an account for Kupang. So yeah, when we first like arrived at Busan, we were like just strangers. We were like just visitors in Busan. So yeah, we usually will ask our friends Kupang to to order things. And then lastly, of course, there are some names of some worth it restaurants that I would suggest, just Hansot and then Chanding, which is like a local cheap restaurant, and then the Global Village Dorm Cafeteria, and then Kapop, or maybe you could just cook by yourself. Just cook, man. And then for the transportation, you could use subway, taxi, and bus. Well, personally, I would prefer bus. Well, bus or subway because taxi is just too expensive. And for subway and bus, it will cost like around 1,700 won per ride. And then, oh yeah, if you want to like ride those bus and if you want to ride those bus, then you will need some T-money card in order to just tap and pay. And yeah, I will usually like just top up like 10,000 Korean won, which is like about 3 times of back and forth trips. And then here's the application to check your T-card balance. for Android and iPhones. Go screenshot this if you want. And then, of course, if you're traveling, we'll need some travel tools. Just prepare your selfie sticks, your T-Money card, and then, of course, the translation apps. And then, lastly, of course, the most important is Nevermap. And yeah, that's the end of our presentation about our past experiences in DSU. And for more info, just contact us. Thank you.
Wow, what an amazing sharing session. Thank you so much, Jessica and Kosama, for sharing with us. I felt like I just traveled to Korea without leaving my seat. Now it's time for our Q&A session. You can drop your questions in the chat or just raise your hand. Okay, so one question from Kelvin William. What are you guys' administration's process like? What is it? Was it hard?
Okay, I might answer that part. Well, Jessica already explained about our administration, and well, overall, it was not really hard and not really easy. It's like so, but yeah, here are the parts of our application.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
the most hard part for me, it's the apostle document. So that time, because we are kind of in a rush, we need to ask the document from UC, right? We got a request, and it took like 3 days. We gotta wait for that. It's kind of heart pounding. And then after we got the document, we went to the accountant. We need to pay some money to get apostilled. It's like to make the document legal. And I think that's like the most heart pounding part because there's also a risk like if you didn't get it. Also, visa application, of course, it was also hard. For me, that time I went to do it myself at Jakarta, and I think Samuel did it from agent, so I think it's easier for him, but he needs to pay more, of course. And that time, because I went alone to Jakarta, it kind of rushed me a lot. It's also the hardest part, but somehow I need to pay like lower than Samuel, of course. So yeah, I think that's the hard part.
Maybe to add, I paid like 3 million rupiah for like because I was using Chalo for the visa. So yeah.
Okay, I see. Okay. So another question from Melly. How much for the minimum GPA and IELTS band to apply that scholarship?
Okay, so for GPA, I think the minimum is 3.5. If you're above that, then you're fine. And for IELTS, I think it's 5.5, but I think it may be different for different majors, different departments. But I think it's safe if you do it like more than 5.5. For Duolingo, maybe Sam?
For Duolingo, it was 100, I guess. Yeah, 100. It was 100.
Yeah, so I think it's not that hard for the English proficiency test. Any other questions?
Oh, no. Okay. Any more questions? Okay, there's one from Muhammad. Do we need to learn Korean language or is English sufficient for daily conversation?
Yeah, okay. So for Korean language, no, it's not mandatory. You don't need to be fluent at Korean. But for me, that's my experience. Actually, you at least know how to read Hangul because in Busan, because it's not the capital city of South Korea, there's a lot of signs that you need to read, and there's no English, there's no other languages. It's just like Hangul words. So I think like the minimum for like your daily life, you need to at least know how to read. But if it's conversation, not really. You can actually use Papago. It's a translator app if you talk with the local. But if it's at the campus area, for me, my experience, I don't really get to meet Korean people, Korean students, because our building is like different. Our building only for international college. So the conversation was mostly in English. And also my friends are from like different countries. So Korean is not really, but yeah, I took one class. It's listening and speaking Korean. It actually helps me a lot. Like at least I learn how to talk with the local, like the basic words. Yeah, I think it's mandatory to take like one Korean class, right, Samuel?
Well, I couldn't read Hangul at all, so yeah, you'll be fine.
Oh, okay, okay, I see. Okay, so another question from Kev Caffeine. Were the native people welcoming? Did you guys have a lot of connections from there?
Okay, so yeah, I think yeah they're also welcoming, even though maybe some other people are rude, but most of them are actually welcoming. And did you guys have a lot of connections from there? If it's Korean people, there's actually the international camp that I went. I actually got a lot of Korean friends from there. But I think most of my friends are more from international, like other countries, not Korean. Maybe from Mexico, there's a lot of Mexico, and also Vietnamese. But I don't know. I don't really have connection for Vietnam. How about Samuel?
Well, maybe I'm worse because like I rarely met like Korean students at the Dongso, but like yeah, maybe like that one time where there's just a lot of Korean students will be uh at the international camp when we went to Gimhae. Yeah, just that. Like mostly we will just do our networking with international students. So yeah.
Okay, okay. Another question from Melly. If as an IBM RC student under 3.5 for the GPA, up 3.3 GPA, but IELTS band is 6.5, if I can, is it possible to apply and pass the scholarship?
So I think the mandatory GPA is not actually written in the poster. So I think maybe you can still apply, but then you'll need to do interviews with your own lecturer. And maybe if you do it good and you show your motivation, and also your IELTS is more than 6.5, right? I think maybe you still have a chance for that. So I think just go for it. Just try to register it. And for the scholarship, I think they take the highest GPA from the other participants that registered this program. So, yeah, maybe just try first.
Okay, okay. So even if our GPA is not that good, it's still good to try, right?
Yeah, there's still chance, of course.
Okay. Okay, another question from Ricardo. Are we able to take some classes that are most likely less relevant with our major?
Yeah, so there's actually minimum SKS that you need to convert, right? And of course, you need to match it with your own major. Like that time, mine was computer science, right? So I need to take like mobile programming, AI, and so on. but then you still have like some credits left. So Dongsu actually give you in total of 20 credits, and you can use all of them. Yeah, maybe you can show it, like the list of my classes. Yeah, here. So from 20 credits, you can make it full. That time I choose Korean listening and speaking. It was not match my from my major from UC. Also cinematography and lighting. That is also not relevant for my major, but it's like an extra. Yeah. So yes, you can. Also Sam, I think Sam took a different class, right?
Yeah, for the non-IT like computer science class, yeah, principles of marketing, which is business
Aku
related,
nalingi.
and
Sama sih, ini
digital
jadi
publishing, which is no like the cafe, yeah, cafe class. And yeah, the other classes are just computer science.
I think other than that, what other class yet? I think there's also like Korean economy, right?
Korean history that
Yeah,
Nathan took.
Korean history, economy, maybe like the culture of Korea too. I think there's more other courses that you can actually take, but yeah, it depends on your passion, like what do you want?
Okay, I see. So is there any more questions? You can raise your hand or send them in the chat. Okay. Okay. What an insightful Q&A session. Okay, so as a token of appreciation, we're going to be giving a certificate for Che Jessica and Ko Samuel. First, we'll hand the certificate to Che Jessica. Okay. Okay, so it will go to Ko Samuel first, sorry. Okay, so e-sign please. 3, 2, 1. Thank you, Ko. Okay, so for the next certificate, it will be handed to Jessica. Okay, e-sign please. 3, 2, 1. Thank you very much, Jessica. Now we'll have a documentation session with Jessica and Ko Samuel along with all the participants. So everyone, please turn on your cameras. Okay, so everyone, you can pose however you like. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so for the next slide, we'll have another one. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Now, to close this event, let us pray again. Let us take a moment to be thankful. Thank you for this wonderful session, for the lessons we learned and the experiences we shared. May the lessons we've gained inspire us to grow and continue learning beyond this event. Bless our journey ahead and guide us to always do our best. Amen. Wow, we have reached the end for today's UCIC Talk. Once again, thank you so much to Jessica and Ko Samuel for sharing your experiences and to all of you for joining us today. I hope we all can learn something valuable. And that's all for today's session. See you all in the future UCIC Talks. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you
Thank you, Jay.
all.
Thank you, Joe.
Excuse me, how about there's a survey, right?